Hello! We are at the Pulse for Therapy, which I've been posting a lot, and I don't know how to explain it. So I talked part of my Mary Christine Fitness family group, Josh and Rohana, to come down, and they're going to be the superstars of the future. So Josh is a little bit afraid, but we are going to find out that he's going to leave here going, I need more of this, because it is addicting. So he's a bodybuilder. He's doing nationals this year. And if he's got any aches and pains, or even just to feel better about himself, we're going to find out here in a few minutes. So here we go.
So it increases recovery 40 to 60%. It's more oxygen into the body. It increases ATP up to 500%. So strength and endurance on demand.
Cool. That's what I'm looking for.
That's what you're going to find.
Yeah, okay.
It's about this area right here. Shoulders are wider than the stitching, but kind of centered there. Okay, good. Comfy? Okay, so we're going to start out at 7.8 hertz. That's 7.8 pulses per second. And then we just turn it up to your comfort. We don't want anything where they're starting to get an ache feeling in the muscle. Nothing that's painful. And you're the boss. So I just turn the knob up, and there we go. Okay, so here we go. So we should start feeling it somewhere in here. And is it balanced in the shoulders, or?
Yeah.
So
Interesting feeling. I like that.
if you have, you say the shoulder's bad,
Yeah, that shoulder.
so we're looking for a tapping sensation. It should feel like it's.
I definitely feel it up in my traps. For sure. On the back.
So if you clasp your hands together, is that comfortable? It should get stronger.
Oh yeah, I feel better.
So now you've just completed the circuit in your
Yeah, I
body.
feel it. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it really is a difference when you break the circuit when you do that.
Yeah. So try sliding that way just a little bit to see if does that feel more balanced.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So you feeling a tapping sensation in your shoulder.
Yeah, it's reverberating.
So the other thing's kind of cool is if you take your arms like this and then just change the rotation of your shoulder. Make any difference?
Yeah, feel right there.
So this is increasing, it's dilating all of the vascular system, capillaries, veins, increasing blood flow, increasing oxygenation. If you have flexibility issues, it's going to soften and lengthen tendons, ligaments, so you're going to have a greater range of motion. Okay, you ready for a little lower frequency?
Sure.
So we're going to go to 5.5. Probably come up in the power a little bit. So this should feel a lot deeper.
You should do one of those quick little videos, post
Excuse me?
I like the sensation.
what we're doing, kind of thing. Yeah.
You know, are my muscles firing, or are they
See how he's,
Like your pecs right now?
bouncing?
not like my back and my traps?
Yeah.
Are they like flexing at all?
Yeah. So this pulsing is 5.5. They're pulsing at 5.5 times a second.
Oh, okay.
So they're contracting. They're
That's
small contractions.
Yeah,
But, so like if we were to do your bicep or your quads, we can increase the vascular, you can see the veins dilate.
Oh, okay.
So with the older folks, you have to be a little careful because at over an hour, you know, they can do 3,000 repetitions, and they get muscle soreness. So.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Going to be looking for areas of issue with this. Most people's hips, and particularly their back, are issues, but it's usually from the front side. So we're going to start up here by the ribs, and that's approximately where the psoas attaches to the spine. And we're going to follow that right down into the bowl of the hip, which is the other attachment point. Whatever's tight is going to talk to you.
Yeah, right. It's like my back. Yeah.
And then we're going to go from the pubis bone and the belt line. And that'll be L4, L5, tailbone, SI, that whole area. And then the other side. So after we identify if there are any areas of issue, then we'll adjust the power and we'll split them and we'll see if we can create some balance. Okay? So actually this can be a little on the intense side. So if it gets to be, I'm going to turn it up to where you can feel it and maybe go just a little bit higher. And then when you start moving, if you find a spot that's extraordinarily angry, it's going to let you know. And you just need to raise the paddles up and then I'll adjust the power. Okay, ready? So,
Is this good placement right here?
yep. So we're just using the pad and the paddles. So it's a push-pull combination. So you should start feeling it right in here.
I can feel it cutting all the way through my lower back.
Yep, so I'm going to come up just a little higher. Okay, so now I want to go much higher than that. So now you can just start moving it down slowly. Yeah, you got to remember to breathe. And if that's too much, I'll turn it down. Because it's going to get worse. You're just on the edge of the power right now. Turn it down a little.
Like a pain I've never felt before.
Yeah, you can't even explain it, right?
Yeah.
It is a pain that kind of feels good though. Except maybe I'll turn it down a little more.
Maybe I'm just feeling big now. I feel it though.
That could be, but we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So how did I turn it down a little bit more? Is that okay?
yeah,
Okay. So down just a little bit more and that'll be as bad as it gets. So now come across the center. If you start feeling stuff in there, that'll be the psoas. I might be able to turn it up just a little bit.
definitely feel it in my hips. Apparently my hips are really stiff.
So let's hang out right there. Can I come up a little bit?
Sure.
So that should be going right straight to your lower back.
Yeah, I can feel on both sides of my hips.
Is that too much?
No, that's good, man. Yeah. I'm embracing the pain. It's not like I don't know how to explain it. It's not like an overwhelming pain by any means. It's just kind of a dull pain that kind of it's an internal pain letting me know.
Well, it'll definitely let you know.
Yeah.
And it lets you know which each area of issue is.
Yeah, I do very heavy, I mean, I do fairly heavy squats. Not as heavy as I used to, but I do very heavy leg press. And I can feel it in my, especially when I get, I'll go up to like 1,000 pounds or whatever. I can definitely feel it in my hips when I'm pressing on that.
Well, that stresses all those tendon and ligament anchor points.
Yeah, right.
So you can go ahead and bring it over this way. Found another one. Turn it down a little.
What's funny is I feel this pain, it's a lot more duller, but when I am going very heavy on the leg press, and I'm going for that, 8 to 10 reps as heavy as I can definitely feel that same pain in my hips. It's where it kind of lets me know
So this will actually help strengthen those connections. And so ligaments, tendons, they don't have dedicated blood supply, so it's just strictly cellular turnover. So we kind of found all the spots.
That's what I call a beautiful pain.
Okay, so let's split those. So then lower those down slowly, and then we'll adjust the power. And you can move those around anywhere you want.
I feel them like right on my hips.
And so if you
For sure.
pull those up like this,
Oh yeah,
a little more power, are we good right where we're at?
That's good on the power.
Okay.
I'm feeling it all right.
So how would you explain this to someone else?
A beautiful pain now. No, it definitely feels like I feel it when they're working. I don't know exactly what it's doing. You know more than I do.
Not really.
Is it the cellular breakup?
I do know it's doing something, but
Yeah, for sure.
there's no question that, no doubt. So when we get done with this, you're probably going to feel like you're taller. It's because things are going to be loosened up. You're going to be standing more erect.
Okay.
Some people have this lightness sensation that they talk about.
Cool.
So my nephew is lifts a lot of weights, and we were just playing around with him, and he was able to do leg days back to back, where normally he would have 3 days recovery.
Yeah,
Where
right.
so makes huge difference in your training.
Yeah. It's a very acute pain at first, then it starts to dull out. I feel it.
So when that's a bit of the body balancing out. So we want to turn it up a little bit and then let that fade out, and then turn it up a little bit and let
Yeah,
that fade out.
turn it up a little bit. Nothing too much. Okay, I feel that.
Okay, that was less than 1%.
Really?
Yeah. So is that all on the front end? That was 2%. So where are you feeling that?
Right on the hips. The fronts and the sides. Definitely the front though.
So there's all kinds of stuff we can do here. But are you interested in doing a little active stretching?
Yeah.
Really affects the piriformis, the back, the QLs. We can. So I'm going to undo this. We'll take these paddles, and we're just going to use the square pad by itself. So you know how to do a hip flexor stretch?
We kind of cross over.
Yeah. So let's bring this leg up,
Okay.
and then bring this leg across it. Okay. So we're going to turn this up to 7.8. Maybe I'll scoot this down just a little bit. Okay. So we're going to turn this up to where it's a little bitey. You tell me what that is. Probably somewhere in here with you, I'm guessing. Okay, so now we just want you to rock your hips. And it's going to bite.
Yeah, that's tight.
Is that too much?
Truthfully, I think I'm just super tight. Like I do some basic stretches, but probably not as intently as I need to be. I'm hard-headed thinking I'm still in my teens. But I'm
So
also-
this will loosen your back up. It's going to loosen your hips up. It might make you cry.
Tears of joy.
So piriformis, all the connection anchor points in the hips. So when it starts biting, just kind of hang out there, and it'll just work that out, just kind of like kneading bread dough, except it doesn't hurt to knead bread dough. So a lot of people that do this, their back will actually adjust when they loosen those muscles up. So they recommend this procedure to be done at 60%, and you're at 30. Yep, it'll be like a whole new thing. Turn it down a little. Are you sure? So the idea is to be like a pendulum, all the way over. As those different muscle groups engage, it engages.
As I roll over, there's some areas where I don't, like, I hardly feel it, and there's other where it's extremely acute, where it's like bam, right there.
So if there's one side worse than the other, you can scoot that, scoot over to the center of the pad, and it'll increase that focus.
I feel like it's letting me know that I'm equally stiff on both sides, because when I'm at both angles, it's like a 15-degree angle on both sides, where it's like, letting me know.
So this is,
But if I go past that, like right here, I don't really feel it. When I come back,
so that's on this side, where it's biting, or the other side?
both sides, the hips.
So just scoot over 3 inches. There you go. What does that feel like? Knees, quads, calves.
As far as knees, I don't know if it's like a lack of collagen buildup, because they kind of just creak and pop. Like it takes me probably a good like 15-20 minutes to warm up thoroughly before I can really go heavy on legs, especially being in the winter time. So I'll get on the bike and do the bike for a little while, and some leg extensions, then I got the confidence to go heavy.
So where do you work out at?
45 fitness and bottle. For the most part, I'll bounce around to other gyms, but that's usually my home.
So they need one of these. So where, just like you were saying, you have to warm up and work out. So you're expending energy. With this, you're actually putting energy into the body. You're creating circulation. You're softening muscles. So the likelihood, this is a lot more effective, and the likelihood that you could injure yourself from lack of warm up is greatly diminished.
Sure, I'll try these. You need those ring things?
Yep.
Rings?
Well, we can do rings or paddles.
Yep.
So, like if you were having connection engine tendon or ligament issues,
Yeah.
probably use the paddles, so it covers a bigger area.
Yeah,
If it's the knee joint itself, like cartilage, then I would use the rings. Or we can do both.
let's try to go with the rings then. Because it's more just like, it feels like it's like just a little dry in there, like snap, crackle, pop in the beginning.
Okay.
And that's why I gotta like really force some blood into there over time.
Yeah, we can do that. The back of the leg to the top. So is that
Yeah, that's good.
hitting where you.
Yeah. I don't really feel it in the top of the knee as much. Definitely, yeah, I can definitely feel it coming into the back. Though.
Okay, so let's try this, reposition this. So we're going to take this out again. Okay. So now we're going from the top to the back of the leg.
Okay.
Is that positioned okay?
Yeah, you can definitely feel it pulsing through on the tissue.
So we have two more things to try out. So we've gone from back to front, front to back. Now we want to try side to side. And this is coming from the inside of the leg to the outside. So does that feel like it's of the three, which is the best so far? Of the three positions, which do you feel is doing?
Definitely side to side right here.
Okay.
I almost feel like, you know, when the doctor takes that orange triangle and bounces it off your knee, almost kind of has that feeling through it.
So we got one more position, which is from the outside to the inside. Okay. So that's the experimental part of this, is just finding the location's a big deal.
Right, right. Oh yeah, okay, alright. I feel that.
So is this the right combination here?
Yeah.
So let me get a
And that's outside going in?
That's from the outside of the leg going to the inside of the leg. We good there? Well, or whether it's if he has a meniscus tear, if it's on the inside or the outside, or wherever the injury is.
Yeah, between sports, just bodybuilding in general, and then work. You know, I've had a lot of jobs where I was on my feet all day. So I'm sure the tendons, ligaments, tissues all in there. Definitely taking some toll over the years.
Yeah. So the next test is to see what frequency resonates with you the most. So I'll go up in frequency a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a 5.5.
That feels pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely some pain in there for sure. But a good pain.
Is that too high?
No. I wouldn't want to really go any higher. Well, as far as the power,
Yeah.
I can go higher in frequency, but I wouldn't want to get hit any harder. I mean, we could try it. You can turn it up to percentage.
I think we're okay with the power.
Okay, okay.
We can go up in frequency a little bit, but we don't want to stay there for a long time because we actually can make your knee sore.
Oh, okay.
So that's really exercising those cells, and
Yeah.
there's not a good way for that tissue to get rid of waste.
Oh, okay.
So if you go too high and too hard, you'd actually make the knee sore temporarily.
Okay.
Um,
Won't cause any damage though?
no.
Okay. I don't need more damage than that.
Which all the paperwork says that cells are like a capacitors, so you can't overcharge them. So that's why you only feel it where there's areas of issue. It's passing over everything else. and then if you overcharge yourself, it dissipates as soon as you ground yourself.
Can we try the left knee?
Sure.
Because between the two, I'd probably say my left knee has more issues than my right.
So we can go through the same process. So this is top to bottom. Okay, this is outside to inside.
I feel that.
Is it positioned good?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I definitely feel it in the area that causes a lot of pain. Definitely my left knee.
So would this help cartilage and things like that when it's being done on the knee?
Yeah. I mean,
You've got a meniscus and the patella and the cartilage and the ligaments and the tendons and the muscle
so
all around it.
that's what originally led me to this. Was they wanted to fuse my ankle. I had thinning cartilage with a perforation.
Right, right.
So if I stepped on it just right, go down to my knees is very painful.
Oh, okay.
Quit running, quit hiking, quit going upstairs. That's all over now. I can run. I haven't, but I've done 30-mile hikes. I ride my bike.
Okay, okay.
I can do weight-bearing exercises where before that wasn't possible.
How long did it take you to go from not being able to do that to being able to do that?
Probably about. Well, I've been doing it. I do it every day.
Yeah,
It's
right.
been over a year, but probably 8 months, 9 months.
Oh, okay.
I've got another client that was scheduled for a knee replacement, and his doctors have told him that they recommend that he doesn't follow through with that. So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
made me a believer.
Yeah, right.
And
And
you know,
that's daily therapy?
he comes in once a week. So he's also a stroke survivor.
Okay.
So the knee was just something else that we worked on.
Right.
And he did about 40 sessions. He comes in once a week. He's actually coming in this afternoon. So,
Okay, okay.
but he's quit wearing his brace. He's a golfer,
Yeah.
and it's really helping him with his stroke recovery.
Okay.
So there's another exercise where we plug the bed in and you put the pad on your chest.
Yeah.
Puts a ton of energy into your core,
Oh, okay.
make you a beast.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, you sleep better. I mean, there's all kinds of
I want to be a beast.
there's all kinds of beneficial side effects.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You just put it on the chest?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can put it on the chest. You can position the pad so you're working on a shoulder. You can slide it down to your hips.
Yeah.
It's good for digestive health.
Okay.
The stomach lining intestines only have a one cell layer.
Okay. Yeah.
Helps fortify that. If you're, a lot of people have food allergies that they're really not aware of,
Right.
so it reduces the inflammation.
Okay.
It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
How about liver health?
Yep. It helps anything where there's cellular regeneration or recovery.
Right. Okay.
So
Cool.
the bed plugged in. And so the bed's pushing, the pad's pulling. If you want to focus on your shoulder, you can tilt the pad, position that however you want. If you want to work on your hips, down this way. If you keep this compressed, that's good. So we're going to do 5.5 up to your tolerance. And if you do some deep breathing, you can really clear your lungs and increase your air intake or oxygen intake. So you ready? Here we go. That's good, or more? Okay, full exhale, inhale, or full inhale and exhale. And after about 5 or 6 repetitions there of deep breathing, you're going to find that you're breathing much deeper, much easier. So is the breathing easy?
So what are the other benefits for it being on the chest?
Lungs, it just puts a ton of energy into the core. This is my favorite combination. I can.
Yeah, you might take a nap like this.
Yeah.
Maybe not at this power.
People do.
No, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've done this. Set the machine for 90 minutes, and I wake up when the machine turns off. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So we've done pretty much everything but your head, and maybe we'll save that for another day.
Yeah. Don't want to do too much. Be stumbling out here.
Oh, you won't be stumbling.
No?
No.
Okay.
The
You-
head is the best. I mean, obviously everything is important, but that head thing for me is it literally saved my life this year.
Good. Okay.
So I'm a completely different human being for the better.
Right.
So when you do the head, you can activate the vagus nerve. So it snaps your nervous system in from sympathetic, which that's what you're doing when you're exercising, when you're under stress. But the parasympathetic is when your body switches over, goes into, I'm not going to be under stress. I'm into recovery. That increases your digestion, nutritional uptake, helps with recovery. So we can call it whenever you want to call it. Okay.
And that's it.
All right.
So are you still scared?
No.
Are you glad you went?
Yeah. No,
You gonna
good.
get
That was good.
addicted?
Yeah.
Make you macho man?
Yeah. Right.
All right, that was his session.
Definitely beneficial.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you.